Welcome back. People often talk about the power of interest and how it affects our bank accounts and how it affects our loans and how it affects what we borrow and what we put in the bank. But let's kind of look at the beginning part of this, the simple interest, where this all comes from. Now, interest is something funny because it's based on either borrowing or lending money, putting it into a savings account, and earning money, extra money on top, a percentage of what you put in there as a fee or as something that allows you to incur more money for allowing the bank to hang on to your money for you. Simple interest. Simple interest is based on a formula, and interest is equal to P times R times T. And I is going to be interest. P is equal to the principal, which is the amount borrowed or put in the bank, R is equal to the rate. And an interesting note about rate, rate is going to be as a decimal, and rate is also, we're going to assume, annual unless specified. So unless they say it's a monthly rate or it's a biannual rate, we're going to assume that it's annual. And the time is the T. And the note about time is that it's going to be expressed in same period as the rate. So for example, if we have an annual interest rate, we're going to calculate our time as a portion of a year or in years. All right, and so if it's days, the time is in days, etc., etc. Let's just go straight into it. Calculate the simple interest earned on 1 year of deposit of $1,000 if the interest rate is 5%. Let's lay everything out. The principal equals $1,000. That's what we're going to put in. And the rate is equal to 5%, which is 0.05. And we're assuming that it's annual. And the time is equal to 1, or 1 year. So I equals PRT equals 1,000 times 0.05 times 1, which gives us $50. That's the interest earned in a 5% interest rate for 1 year if we deposit $1,000. Okay? And so what you can do is you go ahead and do the next one and see if you can calculate what it ends up being, and that's going to be something you can do. Let's do something where the interest rate and the loan is in terms of months. Now when we look at this, the simple interest rate on a 3-month loan, that's not a year, it's not expressed in years, but our interest rate is expressed as an annual rate because it's not otherwise specified. And so interest still equals principal times rate times time. And so the principal is going to be equal to $2,000. The rate is going to be 6.5%, 0.065, and the time is going to be equal to something else. Now, because the time is in months, but the rate is in years, the time is going to be a portion of a year. Well, there's 12 months in a year, so it's 3 out of 12, so the time is 0.25 years because our rate is in years. And so when I plug this in, it's going to be 2,000 times 0.065 times 0.25, which is going to give me $32.5. Okay, so that's what we would do if we had a month-long loan or increments of months and the rate was in terms of a year. So go ahead and try this one on your own. You can also try E on your own. And we are going to look at F. So E and F go together. You can try E on your own, and I'm gonna go with this one. Notice the rate is 1.25% per month, and it's a 5-month loan. So this is monthly. So that's going to change our time period a little bit more. So let's look at this. Interest equals PRT. PRT. Interest equals. And my principal is 700. My rate is 0.0125. And my time is 5. 5 months. And rate is monthly. So it's 5 months and my rate is monthly. So when I calculate this, I end up with, this is going to be 700 times 0.0125 times 5 equals $43.75. Keys to this one, I had a monthly rate, and so that was making sure that I had my rate in months, but I had also my I took into consideration that the rate was monthly, so I left it in months and didn't calculate it as a portion of a year. When I talk about time period, that's the consideration of what the interest rate is calculated as. If it's a monthly interest rate and my time is given in months, it's convenient. If it's an annual interest rate and my time is given in years, it's convenient. But time period has to be adjusted to reflect what we're talking about. And so time period is going to refer to us making a fraction of a year. So time period, making our time into a fraction of a year. So say, for example, I have days. The exact method for converting this time period into fraction of a year is going to be the number of days over 365. Because there's 365 days in a year, technically, we take the number of days and put it over 365. That gives us a fraction of a year as our time. There's also another way that banks do it. There's the ordinary way. Now the ordinary way is the same kind of a calculation, number of days over 360. And what they're basing that on is the fact that 12 months at 30 days per month. So they just assume, okay, we're just going to eliminate all those extra days, say 360 is our number of days. That's the ordinary way. Other ways we could adjust time period for month would be number of months out of 12. So for example, months, it would be the number of months out of 12. That's how we adjust our time period to make our rate jive with our time, because we want them to always have the same units. So if it's an interest rate in months, we're going to say how many months is that in 3 years or whatever. And so when I'm calculating simple interest due on a 45-day loan and it's an annual interest rate, so that's a yearly rate, I need to make my time equal to 45 out of 360, because that's the time in years. And that's the time in years because rate is yearly. And so when I calculate my interest is equal to principal times rate times time, I've got my time as a fraction of a year. And so when I calculate that, I actually come up with $35 for my interest. Time has to be reflective of what the rate is. Time and rate have to have the same units. See if you can find B. I'm going to give you a hint. It's a 120-day loan, and it's an annual interest rate. So T is going to be something out of 360. Okay? See if you can calculate that. Thanks for watching, guys. We're going to continue to work with simple interest as we build on this to learn about compound and learn how we can make our money work for us. All right, guys? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.